Super Sebring is here, and we are going to race around a track we know and love, the Sebring International Raceway. And the fascinating part about it is that there's not one, but two races this weekend. So this is my race preview for you to get up to speed on the WEC and IMSA's Sebring events for 2023. Yes, you heard me correctly. We won't be going over just one race preview, but two. And that's because the WEC and IMSA are racing at the same track on the same weekend. And don't worry, the races won't interfere with each other. The organizers have scheduled them in an open window, so they won't overlap. Probably the most popular event at this track is the 12 Hours of Sebring. This race being a part of the endurance racing Triple Crown, including Le Mans, Daytona, and Sebring, of course. The 12 Hours of Sebring is located within IMSA, so that is IMSA's race. The WEC has their own separate race, which is called the 1000 Miles of Sebring. In 2023, both races are held on the same week, but are completely separate events. The WEC's race, the 1000 Miles of Sebring, which is also the first round of the 2023 season, will take place on March 17th, which is a Friday. Where IMSA's race, the 12 Hours of Sebring, which is also the second round of the season for 2023, will take place on March 18th, which is a Saturday. The track itself occupies the land where Hendricks Army Airfield was, which was operational from 1941 to 1946. In 1950, the Sebring International Raceway was opened, and the first ever race, the 12 Hours of Sebring, took place then and there. The first car to win the 12 Hours of Sebring, which was in 1950, was called the Crosley Hotshot. And if you want to know more on every winner who has won the 12 Hours of Sebring, I made a video that exactly details that. I'll put a link in the top right corner. Over the years of the 12 Hours of Sebring, many manufacturers such as Porsche, Ferrari, Ford, Nissan, and others have won this historic event. And now in 2023, IMSA comes to the 71st edition of the 12 Hours of Sebring. In 2019, the World Endurance Championship returned to Sebring and ran the 1000 Miles of Sebring for the first time. This ran simultaneously to the 12 Hours of Sebring, and it continues to do that to this day. The track itself has gone through many changes over the years, such as the removal of the Webster turn in 1967, which proved quite dangerous in years before. The current track layout that the cars drive on has been operational since 1999, and this layout has 17 turns that make up the 3.7 mile track, which is 6 kilometers for those using that format. The race lap record has continued to stay the same from the WEC race in 2019, with Kamui Kobayashi setting the fastest time in the TS050 Toyota, his fastest lap a 141.8. So which manufacturers are racing at Sebring in GTP and Hypercar, and how many entries are on the grid for the other classes? Well, we'll start off with GTP, which is an IMSA, and we have Porsche, BMW, Acura, and Cadillac returning. These are the same cars that participated in Daytona. The only difference from that grid versus this grid is that the number 2 Cadillac is missing, and we'll explain where that Cadillac is in just a moment. For Sebring, all GTP teams will have 3 drivers. So teams like Acura and BMW will only have 3 drivers, where at Daytona they had 4. For the other classes, LMP2 has 8 entries, LMP3 has 10 entries, GTD Pro has 8 entries, and GTD has a whopping 20 entries. All these entries combine to create the 54 car grid for the 71st edition of the 12 Hours of Sebring. For the third running of the 1000 Miles of Sebring, which is in the World Endurance Championship, there is a very competitive grid, especially in the top category of Hypercar. The manufacturers participating in Hypercar include Porsche, Toyota, Ferrari, Van Wall, Cadillac, Glickenhaus, and Peugeot. Porsche and Cadillac are running LMDh entries, where the rest are all LMH entries. LMP2 consists of 12 entries, where GTE-AM has 14. So that means a total of 37 cars will be at this event for the first race of the 2023 season. I also want to mention the balance of performance, which is abbreviated as BOP for Sebring, for both IMSA GTP and WEC Hypercar. We'll take a look at horsepower, and as you can see for GTP, Acura has the most horsepower given. The number is 697 horsepower, which is equivalent to 520 kilowatts. As for WEC Hypercar, Glickenhaus actually has the same amount of power given as Acura in GTP. Let's do a quick rundown of how the weekend is going to look. So Wednesday, March 15th, we'll see Practice 1 and Practice 2 of the World Endurance Championship. And as of releasing this video, both practice sessions have already happened. And then moving on to Thursday, IMSA will start off the day with Practice 1. And then it's Practice 3 for the WEC. Then the IMSA entries get back out on track for Practice 2. Thursday also sees qualifying for the WEC. GTE AM getting the first session, followed by LMP2 and finally Hypercar. And after WEC qualifying, the IMSA entries are back out on track for Practice 3 to round off Thursday. Practice 4 kicks off Friday with the 3 qualifying sessions coming from GTD Pro, GTD, and then LMP2 and LMP3, and then finally GTP. And at 12 local time, the first ever 2023 race of the WEC will begin. Finally, on Saturday, March 18th, IMSA's second round of the championship will begin at 10:10 local time. So how do you watch these Sebring races in 2023? Well, for IMSA, if you want to watch the 12 Hours of Sebring in the United States, it's streamed live on the Peacock streaming service. I think for most everybody else, it's streamed on IMSA TV. For the World Endurance Championship and most of Europe, and I believe some parts of Asia, it is streamed on Eurosport. In the US and Canada, it's streamed on Motor Trend, where in Mexico, it's streamed on Fox Sports. So that concludes my preview for the Super Sebring races of 2023. Are you excited for this weekend? And are you going to watch the 1,000 Miles of Sebring or the 12 Hours of Sebring or even both? Let me know all your thoughts on this upcoming weekend down in the comments section. If you're interested in endurance racing and you want to get updates on the WEC and IMSA, make sure to subscribe to the left. And if you want to see more videos, watch one of the suggested options to the right of your screen. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.